Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Trending Thursday. My name is Glenn Tompkins, senior instructor here. My name is Glenn. Listen, I'm here. If you can hear me, by all means, please respond in the affirmative, preferably with VV Nation, and let me know that I am coming across loud and clear. I like Bill says, greeting Earthlings. Are you from outer space, Bill? I mean, you don't have to tell me if you can't. But if you are you from outer space? All right. John says, hit the like button on the way in. Guess what today, folks? I got a special guest today as we get into if the Fed screwed up. I think tomorrow's video, I'm going to go in on the Fed. I think I'm going to go in on the Fed. What do you think? Do you think I should give you my 2 cents on what the Fed did? I'm going to give you at least 1 cent today. All right. Do you think that I should give you 2 cents tomorrow for the Friday video? Yeah, JP, Jerome, man, I don't know. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. How many of you are thrilled that the DEW kept you on the right side of the market? And that's, I'm probably going to talk about that tomorrow as well, about the VectorVest market timing and what it did even prior to what the Fed did. All right. So I think that I am going to do a video about, I'm going to say, what the Fed? I think, Joey, how about that for a title?
That's great, man.
You like, wow, you sounded so robotic. Wow, I don't think you really liked it. How about I can't let my special guest talk yet, because then, Bill says, I always wish I could stay for the whole session, but I have to go to Ron's W's coaching after 30 minutes. I know, I listen, I don't like that we always have seminars or webinars or presentations that overlap, but it is what it is. We only got 24 hours in a day. All right, and we all try to do what we got to do to get it in and all that kind of stuff. Thanks, Ron Wheeler and the Do. Well, Ron does a really good job on what he does. So I think that we're gonna do a little bit more deeper dive on what the Fed did yesterday in tomorrow's video, and I'm gonna talk about how what he did and what VectorVest did can make you better investors. So with that, let's get into, you're looking at the color guard. It's a lot of red in there, folks. And that was prior to the Fed even opening his mouth. But there's a lot of red in there. Akshaya, are you here? All right. Hello, Julian. I'm pissed. Say again?
I need to check your alert.
Okay. I said, the alert didn't look like it. You need to check it. I set it up. I did set it up.
What are you pissed about?
I'm pissed that the Fed did not raise the interest rate. I'm pissed about that. I think that a lot of people were buzzing in his ear talking about the market and their stocks, and I don't think he had enough backbone to stand up and said, my job is not to appease you guys. My job is to take care of the economy. Anybody agree with that? I don't think the Fed had backbone yesterday. Does anybody agree with that? Type of 1 if you agree with that. Type of 2 if you don't agree with that. All right, so I'm not happy with that. The cycles are suggesting the market will be in an uptrend 2023 to 2026. We'll see. I mean, and after he paused, what's the market doing? After he paused, and everybody's like, woo, all right, he paused. What's the market doing? Right now, the market's still going down. How long does that last for? We'll see. All right, so I'm not happy about what the Fed did yesterday. I think that he did not have the backbone to do what he needed to do. He may as well have everything sold off. I think at some point in time, you got to rip the Band-Aid off. He's kicking the can down the road. Inflation still rearing its ugly head. Talking about inflation rearing its ugly head. Joey,
So you scheduled it for the 28th for whatever reason.
Dang it. You know why? Because I was setting up alerts for
Successful investors.
Yep. All right, that's why the alert. Can you do something about that? Son of a gun.
I guess.
Sorry. Listen, I got a lot of alerts to set up, and I that's what happened. That was my fault. Are you still thinking the market is looking for a bottom with an MTI of 0.60 and BSR of 0.20? Let's get into that real quick. I can use this, right, Joey?
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about from an inflationary standpoint why I think that the Fed got it wrong. I think that he shouldn't have done what he did. Higher interest rates, not just longer, but maybe forever. I think that this is an extreme story, but the thing that he's putting into play is instead of going right after the problem, hurting the economy, and everybody says you don't want to break the economy. Okay, I agree. You don't want to break the economy, but at some point in time, with inflation being at 9% and bringing it back down to that 2%, I think there's a certain level of having to break the economy to a certain degree. So this story says higher interest rates, not just for longer, but maybe forever. And I think that that's an overstatement. All right, I think that that's an overstatement. Let's go to the next one. Interest rates staying higher for longer. So everyone out there who's saying that, well, you know, he did the right thing and da-da-da-da-da, would you rather get hurt and pull off the Band-Aid and get it over with, or stick with higher inflation or higher interest rates for a longer term? I think I would rather to just have ripped the Band-Aid off. I think sometime earlier this year, or even going back to last year, he should have raised at one point in time 100 basis points. Now, granted, I am not an economist, and I just found out yesterday that neither is the Fed. He's a lawyer, not an economist. Not an economist. All right, but look at this. Means at least through 2026. Do you guys want to deal with high interest rates all the way through to 2026? Whoa. Zero interest rates forever is not possible. We are not Japan. And we had low interest rates for the longest time. And listen, that's what got us here. And everybody's talking about, well, he's going to cut soon. When? He ain't cutting now. All right, he ain't cutting now. All right, so that's my 1 cent in regards to what the Fed did. I still think that the Fed did the wrong thing. And we'll see how it plays out. Added to my BNKD and started my son in on it. I'm a big fan of the banks. We got so many things on to push the market further lower. In a moment, after my guest, actually, let's do it right now. I'm going to go into the system and let's talk about if we're getting close to bottom fishing. See if we're getting close to bottom fishing. Let's go up to the graphs. Market pulled back. Market's been pulling back even before the Fed said anything. Markets pulled back. We are at the MTI at a level of 0.65 and the buy to sell ratio is 0.17. Now, normally I'd be saying it's time to get your shopping list ready for bottom fishing, right? That's what I would normally say. But I still think that we got a lot of negative stuff in the news. But I'm gonna let the software do its job. Its job is telling you guys to be ready. All right, to be ready. And we'll go from there. The problem is the Senate and the House. Again, now we get into the political side of it, which I ain't gonna do. All right. Joey put the alert out. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Joe. Joey's gosh. At least I put the alert out just for the long time. Please, what do you advise on Tesla? I'm a big fan of Tesla. I'm going to talk about Tesla today, Chizzy. I'm going to talk about Tesla today. All right, the price itself should lower demand. The problem is the Senate and the House, and I want to know the alert was Joey's fault. No, it wasn't Joey's fault. That was my fault. Listen, when I mess up, I own it. When Joey messes up, he never owns it. I can't even freaking mute you. All right, I can't even mute you. But when Joey messes up, he never messes up ever. He never takes it. Never. All right. So with that, Joey, put me on my new guest, my guest for today. We've got something called the Investment Income Challenge, and Ron Wheeler is going to be my guest today, talking a little bit about it. It's a free webcast that will be going on, and from this point, I'm going to let Ron come in and talk to you a little bit more about it. By the way, before you start, Ron, I want to say hello to Amber. Charles says, say hey to Amber, my wife, Glenn. Amber, hi. All right, now, Ron, it's all about you, buddy.
All right, well, cool. Thank you, Glenn, for having me on. I appreciate it. I was kind of like in La La Land for a minute there. I'm actually on the our Ultimate Retirement Solution coaching group, our live trading room, and I was updating some trades for everybody, so I was kind of like multitasking. Well, as you know, if I'm on, that usually means we're trying to do something with options. So I'll get right out with it. We are launching next week our once a year income challenge where we teach people our very simple SPX trade and SPX strategy. This is something that I've been doing now for probably close to 15 years on the SPX. I brought that concept over to VectorVest when I came to VectorVest back in 2015. It's already been 8 years now. So when I came to VectorVest, I brought the ideas and the concepts of doing trading on the SPX because I was originally an S&P futures trader back in the day. And then when I transitioned to options, I started trading options on the SPX too. And the idea behind it's very simple. We do once a week or twice a week, depending on how you want to do it, trades on the S&P 500. It takes no more than 15 minutes. We base it off the DEW for those of you that use VectorVest. Right now, we're in a DEW down. So, Glenn, if you want to pop up that slide I showed you earlier, this was a trade that I took on Monday.
Hold on. And I got it. Okay.
There it is. So that's a trade that I took on Monday. And, you know, we closed that out this morning. Well, we didn't close it out. It closed out automatically with a stop in there. And it was, boom, a nice little $1,800 gain. Now, that trade right there, by the way, you would have to have a $50,000 account to trade. Now, if you don't have $50,000, it's no big deal. You just trade less contracts. I happen to trade 5 on that guy. And then what I do is I do essentially 1 or 2 5-contract SPX trades a week. Now, over the last 8 years, the SPX system alone has averaged about 2.5% per month in profits. Now, mind you, not every month is going to be profitable. We've had stretches, and this is where I always like to come clean and be honest with everybody. In the year 2022, I'm actually right around break even for my SPX trading. That doesn't distract me. That doesn't slow me down. I still do my trades every week. But, you know, we're right about break even for the year. I had a year like this back in 2018 where I was break even for the first like 7-8 months of the year. And then the last couple of months, the market just hit that trend and we ended up finishing up 10, 11%. So even with that 10 or 11% I made in 2018, even if I only make a couple percent this year, over the last 8 years, we're still averaging about 2.5%. That's really what a trading strategy is. You know, as much as I'd love to show you guys trading strategies that just go all the way up and never have drawdown and never come down, it just doesn't happen. There's always going to be some drawdown. And we have periods where, you know, for 3 or 4 months, we might go down a little bit. For a couple months, we might go up. You know, I think last year, my SPXs made 26%. And January, February, and March, really good months. April, we had some drawdown. We made money in May and June. July and August, I think we had some drawdown. I might be off on my months. I know last year we made money in 8 out of 12 of our months for the SPX. So we had some drawdown there too. But over the course of the year, 26%. Over the course of the last 8 years that I've been doing this with VectorVest in my class, average is about 2.5% per month. So it's a really easy trade. It basically takes all the strategies in the core of the options paycheck and brings it down to one trade that you can do in as little as 15 minutes a week. It's not that hard. You could do it in an IRA. I do it in a Fidelity IRA as well as my Thinkorswim account. So, you know, it's something that really everybody can take advantage of. It's nice little entry into trading credit spreads. And it actually, if you've been thinking about something like the options paycheck, you know, this is a nice little introduction to what credit spreads are. It's one tight little system on the SPX. We make sure you know the expirations to use, the deltas to trade, where to place your stops, where to place your profit targets. I've got videos for all kinds of brokers in there to help you place these trades. So it's something if you're interested in, you can just go to VectorVest.com/join challenge. Glenn will put the link out there and show you the website. I'm actually doing a class tonight also. It's at 4:30. That's just kind of like a little introduction to it. You guys are certainly more than welcome to attend my sales seminar tonight. I don't really know what the link for that one is. Let me see if I can find a link to the, let's see here. You know, Glenn, we forgot to talk about that one. Here we go.
That's, I think, was in my calendar that I was trying to get to.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a link in Teams.
Okay.
If that's cool. There you go. It's you can just post the link. It's not something easy because it's like, you know, 75 different letters. Well, anyway, I have a 4:30 sales event tonight to kind of give you the beginnings of how the strategy works, the concept. It's only about an hour long, which is cool. Kind of talks about how we do it, and some of the concepts we trade with. So, like I said, that's what we got coming on. My current options paycheck class is coming to a close. They wanted me to work a little harder in October, so we're doing this next month. And like I said, it's a really good entry level into trading options for income. Now, I'm more than happy to, for while Glenn's with me, to take any questions you have about options. Options income, option credit spreads, whatever you want to ask me about options. I did my little spiel about the income challenge. I'd invite you all to it. And if you have questions about options in general, please let me know. That's also what I'm here for.
All right. So keeping in mind the income challenge webcast tonight. That was last night was at 4:30. Today, Thursday at 4:30. The link is in the chat. Joey pinned it to the top of the chat. You fill out your name. Hold on, Glenn. Oh my gosh, hush up, Siri.
I know. Don't you love it when Siri, just jumps in there when she's not supposed to?
I'm not putting the mobile phone number. All right.
Oh, come on, show it to everybody.
Hail to the no. All right, reserve my seat. We're gonna do it for Thursday. Reserve my seat, and that's all you got to do.
I expect you to be there.
That's all you got to do. Then you can add it to your calendar, so you get a reminder. But there it is. That's as easy as it is, right from the link. Can I use my IRA with Schwab to do this?
You should be able to. I use an IRA. I use an IRA with Fidelity, and I do these trades in that account. So you should be able to set it up with Schwab as well. I think it's called a limited margin IRA.
Okay.
So, like I said, I know Fidelity has it. I know that Thinkorswim has it Thinkorswim is Schwab now, so they should have it too.
All right. Ron, do you ever do straddles or strangle spreads?
Not really. I do iron condors, but I rarely do straddles or strangles, mainly because I've just, in my experience, they're one of those trades where, I can go back in history and show you all these fantastic straddles and strangles, but every time I've tried to actually do them, whether it's for an earnings event or something else, unless it's for a hedge, I never really had success with them. The risk has always far outweighed the gains on those trades. So I've never been a really big fan. Now, I like calendar spreads. Calendar spreads are typically good as long as there's an IV involved that I like, but nothing really in the straddle or strangle. It's just not something that I've ever had really good success with.
Someone says you can also trade the SPY if you don't want to trade the SPX.
You can, and there's also XSP, by the way,
okay,
which is an ETF for the SPX. The nice thing about the XSP is it's also cash settled, and you get tax incentives for it too. So that's nice.
So Bill, they are spreads. They're not iron condors. In this course or in this specific webcast, they are spreads.
Right. You're doing a bull put or a bear call. Simple as that.
Will you be using Thinkorswim after the change of owners?
Absolutely. I mean, unless they take Thinkorswim away, which they won't, because I think that's one of the reasons they bought TD Ameritrade. Yeah, I will always continue to use Thinkorswim as my primary trading apparatus. I also use Fidelity because I have an IRA with Fidelity. I didn't have a choice. I rolled it over from another account. So I use Fidelity as well. But Thinkorswim will always be my main platform that I use.
I'm going to use one more question. Do you have a video how to do it on Questrade? I want to take the course, but I'm waiting to hear back from Questrade why I can't do credit spreads on the SPX on my iPhone app.
That's a good question. I do not. They do. I mean, I've used like the Questrade demo before, and it looks pretty easy, but I don't have access to the Questrade platform where I can do videos. I have access to IB. I have access to Fidelity. I've got videos for Fidelity. I have videos for Thinkorswim. I got videos for E-Trade. I've got videos for, I think, Ally. So I've got a lot of them, but unfortunately, Questrade, I don't have access to their platform.
All right. With that, thank you for the questions, VV Nation. And Ron, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, and I appreciate the bit of questions that they asked that you answered, no matter what the question was, which is cool. I implore everybody in VV Nation to click the link to go to the free webcast this evening. It's free. Duran will go a little deeper into the income challenge. Make consistent profits or consistent income with just one trade. I don't know who would want to not do that. I don't know who would not want to do that. So, again, hit the like button. Again, Ron took time out of his day. Ron is forever doing a webcast somewhere. And he took the time out of his day to be here. And I appreciate that. I totally. And Ron, you know you're always welcome to be here whenever you want to. I will help to promote whatever you do. As you can see, VV Nation loves what you do as well. All right, with that, Ron, have a great day, my friend. I know you got to get ready and probably do something else. Just that quickly. So thank you for being here in VV Nation. Again, hit the like button. Hit the heart, whatever the thing that keeps flashing up. I don't know what that is, but hit the heart thingy too. All right. Adios, my friend. Have a great day. All right. We're going, the challenge is worth it, says Rob. I like that. Rob says the challenge is worth it. And I love that we do things to show people how to make money in the stock market. That's what it's all about. All right, that's what it's all about. We're just not a pretty face. Well, I'm not just a pretty face. We do a lot of content on this channel between myself and Ron and Susan and Stan. And there's so much content on this channel, folks. We should have like 100,000 subscribers to the channel. We should already have 100,000 subscribers to the channel. Only way that makes that happen is you sharing the content. You guys got to help us out. Share the content. If you like what you see here, tell other people about it. All right. With that being said, let's continue on. Talking about my inflationary stuff. Why I still think that the Fed did the wrong thing. And let's get into more news. All right, let's get into more news. Where's my web button? Oh, man. My web button don't want to. Wow, what was that all about? It took forever to happen. Woo! All right, so more inflationary news. Oil prices rebound from Fed-induced fall. The Bank of England, is that Bank of England? SMB paused rate hike. So, we're not the only ones that did it. And all I say is, again, why I think that the Fed did the wrong thing is because inflation is going to rear its ugly head, and then they're going to overreact again. Glenn, any way to briefly explain why the VV system has downgraded Suncor's value roughly 25% in the last 6 weeks? Well, it depends. Are they making money? Are they growing their money? That's the main reason why that would have happened to Suncor. I'll take a look at it, though. Value, when you look at value, value is based off of interest, earnings, and inflation, but it's also incumbent upon earnings and earnings growth. Are they growing their earnings? Right. So that's the way I'm going to look at it, but we'll take a look at the graph. Glenn, how long after earnings does VectorVest update their database? It's updated on the spot. Remember, our earnings. Remember, when you look at earnings, our earnings is forecasted. Our earnings is not just a number that says this is what they earned, this is what they made. Ours is forecasted out a year. So we look at past earnings, we look at current earnings, we look at earnings experts. We get a lot of information to project our earnings and forecast it for a year. So when you say it updates, it is updated all the time based upon that information, John. Remember, typical earnings just says that ABC company made 1, 2, 3. Our earnings goes and says what their earnings should look like a year from now. And if it's higher than the number that came in, then you know that the stock's got good earnings growth. I mean, relative value, relative safety, relative timing. Well, remember, those indicators, John, are looking at the stock's upside potential. It's looking at how safe it is. Does it meet or exceed earnings expectations? And RT is going to play a big part in that, because if the stock is in a downtrend, that's going to hurt VST hugely. Remember, when we look at VST, it is a square root of the weighted sum of the squares, the weighted sum of the squares. RT's got the biggest weighting when it comes down to VST. When RT is down, the stock is going to look like poop. Now, it could have good fundamentals. RV and RS are the fundamental indicators. It could have great fundamentals. But if the stock's in a downtrend telling you it's not the right time to be in it, it's going to affect what it's looked at overall. Don't fret the short-term inaction of energy stocks to the rising oil price. What I care about is free cash flow. Stock action will eventually reflect a record amount of free cash flow being generated. Again, I'm a big fan of oil going up. All right, plain and simple. Next story. This is another bubble that's getting ready to happen. Don't know when. Credit card debt is still a big problem, even though the Fed didn't hike interest rates. Folks, Uncle Glenn has been telling you about three major things that have the ability to push the market lower. China and its economy, because they're the biggest buyer of everything. Oil, because it's rearing its ugly head. I'm also looking at credit cards. Credit cards is going to be a problem. There's another thing. The banks. Regional banks still haven't reported the big losses that they have. They're also kicking the can down the road. At some point in time, these banks are going to have to claim it, and these banks are going to be in big trouble. It's going to give more fodder for the big banks to buy up a lot of little banks. And we're going to end up at some point in time with just 10 major banks. That's going to be it. Will the credit card issue improve BNKD? It will make BNKD go up. The credit card and the bank issues will make BNKD go up. Never mind, you just answered. There you go. All right, so that's where I stand when it comes down to that. But credit card debt is a major issue that not a lot of people are talking about. They're not. And spending is up. And the spending is up because people are deferring money till later. And if inflation still is rearing its ugly head, taking money out of their pockets, what are they going to do? They're going to prioritize what they're going to pay for. Credit cards is not going to be high on the list. All right, between that and student debt, those two things are not going to be high on the list. All right, next, here's a story. Cisco acquires cybersecurity company Splunk in a cash deal. Now, when I look at all of the AI, supercomputers, all that kind of stuff, cybersecurity is going to play a big role. And Cisco sees that, and they bought a big cybersecurity company, $28 billion. That's huge. And you know, what was it, 2 years ago, we got hit with the cybersecurity crap. It's a big problem. And I think that as we get more tech heavy in the AI space, cybersecurity is going to play a bigger role in a lot of companies. So I like this pickup for Cisco, and I think that adds to their ability to make their customers know that they are safe. Let's go into the software real quick. All right, and let's go to my viewers tab, big stock news. So Cisco is in my list with the buy of Splunk. Look at that. By VST is the top of the list. I talked a little bit about oil. Oil is up today towards the top of the list by VST. Somebody asked me about Tesla. We'll get to Tesla in a moment. But these are the two that I covered so far. Cisco's gone down. That's all right. I think that it's fundamentally sound stock. Relative value, relative safety, both above one. Earnings growth rate, double digits at 13%. It's a hold recommendations. It's got a CI of 1.2. Stock tends to go up more than it goes down. I like the pickup. I like shoring up their cybersecurity. I do like that. Bank crashosity is going to be bad. I know. If you were affected by the Equifax breach, you could have ongoing breaches on your credit cards. Happened 3 times to me. Wow, I didn't know that. Well, the credit card issue, so there we go. And student loans, I talked about that, Dan. People are going to be putting more and more money on their credit cards, student loans. They're not going to be paid because people need a place to eat. They need a place to live. They need to eat, and they got to pay for their cars. And student loans are going to go on the back burner, and credit cards are going to go on the back burners as well. All right, let's go to the next story. Cisco, another story on Cisco. Could usher in tidal wave of M&A. Now, with inflation looking like it is, all right, maybe getting better. I'm not going to deny that. All right, it's cooling. But these smaller companies not being able to keep up with payments because of higher inflation are going to be prime companies to be bought. And I think that this story could be interesting, that there could be a good big tidal wave of M&As. I told you in regards to the banks that are going to report and get all jacked up, the bigger banks are going to buy them. A lot of these companies, whether it's cybersecurity, whether it's AI, whether it's chips, they're not. Some of them are not going to be able to hold on during this time of inflation and interest rates. They're going to be made whole by being bought up. Is SPLK a buy? Haas, if they're being bought, all right. So I'm not gonna say you would go buy it. Cisco is going to be the play. Cisco's going to be the play. SPLK is pegged as CSCO cash offer deal. Won't move unless someone else bids. And I don't think anybody, it doesn't show me that anybody else is bidding for it. So SPLK will be bought. So I'm not going to tell you it's a buy. Unless you're already in it, you're loving this because it's gone up. It's gone up. All right. All right. Let's get back into, oops, I need to stay here. Why did I move? Good. How about this? The latest EVs and energy is here. Energy, I got a story for you, buddy. The latest EVs are taking to the water. More and more stories are coming up about electric boats. All right, about electric boats. If EVs are on the road, electric boats are going to be the next big thing. Norway's MV Ampere ferry with a 1 megawatt battery can carry 120 cars. That's electric. All right, the electric boat market until now confined to specialty builders is going mainstream. Just as some central cities in Europe and US are being closed to the internal combustion cars, so are some lakes and rivers requiring, I don't like that, requiring electric power, both for the quiet and the absence of pollution. I don't think we should make people go this route, but this brings up to me in my list a stock that Energy always likes to look at, which is VMAR. It's going to catch more attention now. More and more attention is going to electric boating. VMAR is more of an aggressive, speculative play, trading at $3.15, a value of 79 cents. Fundamentally not sound, in a downtrend, sell recommendation, blah, 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 blah. But if electric boating is actually starting to become mainstream, you need to keep your eye on this. All right. This is to let you know this is something that's playing that space. Vision Marine in the electric boat space. I saw Energy. I can't believe Energy is not jumping up and down. That I actually have a story that starts to push VMAR. Again, very speculative trade right now. But again, if the story is true, and more countries are getting into the electric boating scenario, VMAR may be something to keep on your eye. What's behind the hype and how is the market for electric boats developing in the individual European countries? What's behind the hype? Behind the hype is that more people are becoming more energy concerned, clean energy concerned. It was just a matter of time. I would consider electric motorboat. You know something, when my wife and I went on our cruise, one of the excursions that we were on an electric boat around in a big old space. What's the space? Like a bay. I was thinking Tampa Bay, like a bay. And we rode around on a nice, quiet electric boat in this bay. And he made us drinks on the boat, but we made our own drinks. But he showed us how to make the drinks. Anyway, so we got pretty lit on this electric boat. It was super quiet, and it was just the motoring along. So what's the hype behind it? The hype behind it is that more and more, you see the demand happening for electric vehicles. It just made sense that you're going to look at electric trucks. You see the stories on electric transfer trucks or big old, what's the tractor trailers? More and more of a push towards that. Electric boats, less expensive, becoming more popular amid higher fuel costs. They're not less expensive yet. Someone just said, Lee said they're very expensive. I haven't done any analysis on the cost of these boats just quite yet. All right, so I'll keep my eyes on it, but it's a story that allowed me to do or to take a look at VMAR. All right, Tesla. Now, how about this? Tesla has made 5 million EVs globally, the most of any automaker. So I got a lot of questions yesterday about the UAW strike. I am a fan of EVs are going to fill that void, right? As long as that strike happens, people are gonna say, well, screw this. If I can't get my Ford, my GM, my Stellantis, then maybe I will take a harder look at the electric vehicles. But 5 million, look at the U.S. automaker announced Saturday has produced its 5 millionth vehicle globally. I like this. To put this into perspective, it celebrated its 1 millionth vehicle 3.5 years ago. So that means in 1.5 years, they went from 1 million to 5. That's a lot of freaking cars. And when someone tells me that the demand is not there, that tells me that the demand is there big time. VMAR has been trending down for 2 years, and as soon as the boats catch fire, they're gone. I'm not gonna be that pessimistic. I am of the mindset I like the EV space. I think as an investor, it gives us a lot of great opportunities to make money. We keep on track. I know I try very hard to keep on track of where the ebbs and flows are to keep you in the right stocks at the right time. But I will they catch fire? What is the chances of an EV? How many EVs have caught fire based on how many EVs have been sold, Lou? I look at it that way. Who wants to lose power on a boat? Well, that's why you plan out. And same thing you have to do with an EV. You got to plan out. You got to plan the trip out. Dan says Tesla's production growth has been impressive, with the company achieving the production increase of 1 million units in just 6 months. Listen, and they keep getting all of these factories and going out of the country to build more factories. I'm long time bullish on Tesla. So they want to start to fight China for pricing, and I got short-term bearish on Tesla. But I own Tesla. I own the Tesla ETF, TSL. All right? I like Tesla. I like Tesla, and I cannot lie. How about this story? Volvo to end diesel production in early 2024. I'm going to let that simmer in a little bit, because a lot of people, and I'm one of them, I don't think that combustion engines go away. They just don't. Will we see more electric vehicles on the road? Absolutely. But when a company's coming out, this is next year, to end diesel production, Volvo, I think it was Volvo that said they were going to end combustion engines later on, about 5 years from now. Diesel fuel is $5 a gallon here. Now, where would you be more apt to sell your car? An EV or still a diesel-driven car? I think more and more companies are going to pick up on this. We're going to start seeing more news like this on major car manufacturers. The Canadian shipyard has been building electric boats since 1995. The boats are high quality, artisanal production at very competitive prices and do not require any mechanical maintenance. There you go, Jake. Again, I just looked at the story. I hadn't done a deeper dive into the story. So, interesting. I thought that this was an interesting story. Let's go more EV stuff. The latest EVs, I already did that. Did I do that twice? I did. Sigh. We'll take that out. Here's another one. Electric vehicles can enjoy up to 86 global market share by 2030. That's 7 years from now. Do you agree with that? And do you agree with that? Yes or no? Part of this is lithium-ion battery costs could drop $60 to $90 per kilowatt from the $151 they're at right now. So a lot of people who keep thinking that EVs are too expensive, they're going after what they need to make them, put them into everybody's garage. Put them in everybody's garage. I think that 86% of the global market share is a big number. I think it's a big number. Now, Richard comes up with a good point. The grid can't support massive EVs. And I think that as we go through this demand, knowing that people want the cars, they are going to do whatever they can as quickly as they can to update the grids. That's what I honestly think. Lithium mining has larger carbon footprint than the IC engine. Does it? I'm not going to say that I do or don't know, because I don't know. I'm not sure. Electric cars, semi-boats, bicycles, we need a grid overhaul. I don't know how quickly they are working on it. And Richard says grid updates take huge time. I think that they've had a lot of time already, Richard, to start aggressively going after upgrading the grid. At some point in time, when the rubber meets the road, we have to see if they've kept up enough. All right, so that's a big number. I wanted to get your take on it. That's a big number. I don't know if it's gonna get to be that way. And that's all my stories. Let's get into, there's Tesla. I've got 2 plays for the EV space. I got Tesla and I got cars. If you don't want to look at an individual company like Lucid or Neo or Lee or Xpeng or anything like that, I like playing cars. I'm going to look at both of these stocks on a graph. Tesla is just killing it. Tesla has just been killing it. And Elon Musk said a while ago, he says he doesn't care about the bottom line to a certain degree. He wants to sell cars. Now, I still own TSL. I'm probably thinking about taking my profit on that. Joey, how did you do that? It's around. That down, move that up. There we go. There's the uptrend. And most recently, look at that. We broke through the uptrend. So now it's moving down. I might consider taking half off right now. I think that makes sense. Profit took on TSLL. I haven't taken my profit yet. So I'm going to keep my eyes on it. I am probably going to think about taking profits on it. Cars, which looks at all of the EV space, not nearly as good as Tesla. Tesla's the better play. What I'd be looking for is for when it stops falling and when it starts to bounce back up. I think this is an easier play, but not right now. Tesla is leading the space. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Tesla is leading the space. Now, Mark, EPS is dropping. Why is EPS dropping? I've got a reason why. They are fighting with China to sell cars. And they got a pricing war. And earnings per share is going to fall. And he already knows that it's going to affect the bottom line. But right now, he doesn't care. He just wants to sell the cars. So that's why, Mark. That's why. I still think long-term, Tesla is a good play. I think Tesla was a good play when he was trying to work with Twitter. Once he left there, the company started going back up. He started putting more energy back into Tesla. He needs to sit down. He's a smart man. He needs to sit still and do what he's got to do. All right. Rick says small modular reactors, SMRs, are advanced nuclear reactors that have power capacity of 300 megawatts per unit. I'm a fan of uranium. Somebody said uranium's taking a big hit today. One day doesn't make a trend, Dan. One day doesn't make a trend. Here in my car is where the music is loud. All right. Let's go finish looking at the stocks in my list. VMAR, speculative play. So I'm going to say speculative play. The VectorVest composite is what I'm looking at for the foolish thing. I'm just going to say it. The foolish thing that the Fed did yesterday. And the market's getting hit by it. But we are getting at the level where the market could be looking for a bottom by way of the VectorVest system. But it could stay this way for a while based on a lot of different things that are in the background. It could stay at this level. But I think the deeper it goes, the bigger the rebound is going to be. All right, so we'll get you prepared. All right, so those are the stocks that made my news today. Not a very pretty list. A lot of it is news driven. It is what it is. It ain't pretty. You know what I would be keeping my eyes on right now? We've always talked about it. Contras. But I'd be very careful with Contras. Yes, they're up beautifully today. All my Contras are up today. But the market is starting to get close to looking for a bottom. If you take on Contras, take on me, take me on. And then you got to go up in a high falsetto. I don't even know what they're saying. So, That's all I know. All right. So anyway, with that being said, Joey, I know you're gonna clip that. I know you will. I'd be very careful. I'd be very careful with the contras. They're doing well. They're rocking and rolling. I understand that. When I go to look at the graph of the market, this makes sense why the contras are taking off. But if I am thinking about getting into them now, I think it might be a little too late. It might be a little too late to jump on them now. Unless you want to dip a little toe in the water and take on a couple, you can do that, but I wouldn't back up the truck and buy these. I wouldn't back up the truck to buy these. Akshaya says, Glenn, quick question. Oil is up, but all the oil stocks are down. Is it the ETF selling that is taking it down or something else? I think, personally, there's some manipulation going on. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. Enter contras when the MTI goes above 1.5. Absolutely. That's a great time when the market looks like it's starting to top. But Rick, before I go and buy them, I want to make sure that the market's moving down before I pull the trigger. Just because it's up at that level of looking for a top, how do you know when a top has happened? When the market stops going up and it starts going down. You can pull the trigger early on the first pullback after it got close to a top. Same kind of thing right now. Could I still buy contras? Yes. But would it be more of a riskier play right now if the market's looking for a bottom? Absolutely. So as a VectorVest subscriber, I'm sure that we're going to have videos coming out shortly. As a matter of fact, I think the special presentation tomorrow is going to be talking about bottom fishing. We will start taking you down that path at the right time. All right, we'll start taking you down that path. What's your opinion on the head and shoulders chart? On the VectorVest composite? Put this on the 6-month graph. I always have a hard time looking at this. So head, shoulder, shoulder. It's a bearish indication, and the market's following through with the head and shoulders. All right. But the way that it's falling, we're going to have a moment where the market's going to look for a bottom here. Even when we had here, and I said I wasn't feeling real comfortable about the longevity of this uptrend, I'd feel a little bit more strongly about the longevity of the oncoming uptrend because RT has fallen a lot lower than the previous low here. And the MTI and buy to sell ratio are getting much closer to the level of looking for a bottom. We're back here, it didn't. If I click here, and this is an interesting play right here. I didn't like this upward move. MTI is at 0.75. The buy to sell ratio is at 0.29. It wasn't low enough to say that the market was truly looking for a bottom. Right now, we're getting to the point where the market is getting more in the space of looking for a bottom. I'd feel a little bit more strongly about this rebound than I did for this one. Because when this first happened, I wasn't warm and fuzzy about the longevity of that one. All right, perhaps one-time contras, not leverage. That's a good call, Bill. That's a good call, Bill, that maybe only one time, just 1-to-1 on contras, because all it takes is one good day. Those triple leverages are going to kill you. What do you think about Apple? I still think it's the best stock in the whole wide world. Am I owning it right now, Gerald? No, I'm not in it currently. All right, so those are my stocks. Oh, Sugarfoot. I just freaking closed out the whole software. Sigh. All right, last thing we're going to do, let me get back into it, which means I lost my homepage, didn't I? I think I did. That's all right. Last thing I want to do before we leave is I'm going to take a look at some of your stocks. I'm only going to give you 10 stocks today. What do you mean that there's some manipulation going on with gas? What do you mean? I think that the powers that be are manipulating oil prices. Again, I'm not getting, that's as far as I'm going to go with that. I've got stuff that shows that proves that. But again, that's me saying that. That's me saying that. And I think that from a VectorVest perspective, that goes beyond the purview of what we can do. All right? What I've just given to you right there, David, is my own insight. And I am under the umbrella of VectorVest. So there's only but so far I will go in answering that question. All right? Does that make sense, David? And that's me answering your question with the most honesty I can. I am under the umbrella of VectorVest, and I'm not going to say that it stops me, but to a certain degree it does. And that's not a bad thing. BMKD, because I always want to stick to what the VectorVest system is telling you guys as well. PFIE, FIE, that's 3, 4, 5, Helix, 6, X-Row, 7. I'm not getting a lot of stocks today. It's good. It's EXROF, that's 7. STRL, that's 8. QQQY, really? That's 9. And CNC, Centene, makes 10. Let's go put these all on a 3-month graph. Let's go take a look at them. Somebody said, Akshaya says, manipulating oil prices upward or pushing it down. Please elaborate. Pushing oil prices down. I think that everything on paper shows that oil should be moving up a lot higher than what it is. It is moving up, but it should be with the demand the way it is and with the way that Russia and OPEC have cut and are holding those cuts. Yes, that pushing the prices down, That's as much elaborating as elaborating as I will. Because again, it goes outside of the purview of what the VectorVest system can show you. All right, this is just by my looking at what I see through all of the research that I do. Bank D's on a rise again, coming off a level of support. The 3 and the 8 just crossed yesterday, coming up to a level of resistance. QQQY is a 0 days expression options. Like, I didn't even know what the flying flip that was. Thank you for that, Rick. All right. I like the move. Look at that. Sat in the channel. I made some money back here. Helped you guys make some money back here. Could be on the run again. I'd love to see if it can go above that 1265 range. Rock and roll. I like the rising volume up on it as well. Let me move this over a little bit. I do like the rising volume most recently. It's a good play. All right. And it's still relatively inexpensive. Wow. UNH. I don't know what the news is behind this, but I love that it just came off a level of support. Look at that. Nicely running up, breaking through 2 levels of resistance. A little pullback today, but the body is still much bigger than the wick and still above that level of resistance. I like the play. I like that play, and I cannot lie. I like that play. And I like it recently breaking through a level of resistance or coming out of a champ. Woo! Petroleum. Again, Akshaya. I'm looking at petroleum stuff. Something ain't right. Just something ain't right. All right, so let me ask this question. With my let's take my statement about manipulation out of the equation. Do you think oil is doing what you think it should do? Yes or no? Let me ask that question. Do you think that oil is doing what you think it should do? Yes or no? And my answer to that is no. I don't think that it's doing what it should be doing. David says yes. Okay, that's fine. I don't think it is doing anywhere near what it should be doing. Dan says yes. All right, a couple of people say yes. Petroleum stocks not behaving. And they're not behaving. There's a reason why. It's not behaving. Looking at the cuts, looking at the demand, we're getting into heating season, all of that stuff. It ain't working right. It ain't working right. I can't say if you can't see it, then something's wrong, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. But on paper, it ain't working right. It's just not working right. All right, so I won't push it. Fix. Ooh, I don't know if that was an earnings play. I don't know what it is. Comfort Systems, AC. I don't know what's going on with that. Commodity is not doing good. but not the commodity is doing good. Right. Oil is going up, but the stocks aren't. What does that tell you, Akshaya? If the commodity is going up, oil prices are going up, but the stocks are not, that doesn't ring a bell. I don't know. I think that doesn't ring that doesn't raise a flag. Right, so I don't know what's going on with fixed, but would I want to be in it? No. But saving grace right now is that there is a level of support sitting at 172.36. Let's see if that level of support holds. There's something going on behind the scenes with oil and things. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Again, it just makes sense to me that something's not right with oil. Russia's cutting, OPEC's cutting, and it don't make sense. It don't. Oil stocks following the market down. How could that be if the price of oil is rising? I don't want you to just think about it. I just want you to think about it. All right, that's all. I just want you to think about it. All right, let's go to the next stock. I don't know what's going on with fix. It's just not good. Here's a petroleum stock that is moving. Bottom left, top right. Refining mark, it is moving. Big wick today. Look at that big sell-off. All right. Look at that big sell-off on big volume. People are, and it doesn't make sense. Well, this stock is moving up. Everyone dumping in general? Could be. But if the commodity, if oil itself is rising, the stocks in the space should be rising too. It should be rising too. All right. Next one is another petroleum that's on the move. You know, you're going to find some of the stocks are, but a lot of the stocks aren't. That's a beautiful 45-degree view. I like the play. I still am a fan of energy and oil. Ooh, XROF. Yeah, you know, I own XROF. I own a lot of shares of it. That, what I understand, that review that they had at their place just wasn't good. Just wasn't good. And I think people are like, yo, what's up, homie? Got going on. And then I think Sue said, ain't nothing going on but the rent. You got to have a JOB, be with me. And then the investor said, RESPECT, find out what it means for me. And then the investors also said, what have you done for me lately? So a big down day for XROF. As you can tell, I love music. I'm a DJ. I love music. I'm still in it. I'm still up like 50 some odd %. I'm in XROF at about $1.07. I was up nicely, even up to here. $1.07. I was up almost 100% even at this. Still think long term. No, I didn't tell you to buy XROF. Is XROF in cars? No. I don't think it's in that space. Wow, Sterling building, heavy construction. There's only one saving grace right now on the longer term graph is that it hasn't faded the gap. The gap's sitting at the level of 67.03. Definitely moving down. Interim level of support right about there. Broke down through it. If you own it still, I would have taken some off the table as soon as the 3 and the 8. I would have taken some off the table. Glenn, you know something. Please spell it out. Is it black routes? I don't listen. What I gave you my insight. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you. And again, I'm not going against what I can tell you from a VectorVest perspective. So, told you I'm not going any deeper. This is all my own, and I invite you guys do your own research. Do your own research. All of my insight came from all my own research, my friend. All right, I want to let you know. Next stock. Oh, we just started this. All right, I gotta watch and see what that does. He said it's a zero expiration options play. I put it up because you asked me to put it up. I don't know a lot about it. It look ugly. UGLY, you ain't got no alibi. That's ugly. All right, so don't know if I would touch it right now unless I'm doing puts. CNC, Healthcare, HMO, Centene. I like the move coming off a level of support. The 388 cross. You know me. I love using the 388 exponential move. Broke through a couple of levels of resistance. I like the play. The volume, I'd like to see more volume. Very little wick at the top, more open body. I do like the play. David says, VectorVest, pumping it up maybe. Pumping up what? Oil? Oh, pumping? I don't understand that. I'm not understanding the statement. Pumping up what? All right. With that being said, that's all my stocks for today. Even if I go back to here, I lost the homepage, and I'm okay with it. Why use the 388? Because it works. That's a real statement. The 388 exponential moving averages we have found over time will help you from a day trade perspective, a swing trade perspective, a long-term perspective. I think that everybody should have in their tool belt some semblance of some moving average crossovers that help you. I've grown really attached to the 388. You'll see time and time again when they cross, at the right time you get in, it gives you opportunities to get out without taking big, unless it gaps down. Nothing I can help you with as far as gapping down. All right. I think that's all I got. How many likes did we get today, Joey? How many likes did we get? Are you here, Joey? Are you awake? 71. You know me. I always like to try to get it to at least 100. I also try to get us here to about 300 people as well. We don't always do that. Not very often we do that. So you guys have to help me out. Share the content. Please. If you feel that it was worth it for you to stop by on Thursdays, share the content. Let's get more people. All right. That's the only way we're going to grow. Don't forget, you can go to the store, get the VectorVest merch. Always remember, if you use promo code Glenn23, Glenn with 2 N's, Glenn23, you get 20% discount. You get a 20% discount. Most of my oil got called away, not buying them back. And that's fine, Fireblazer. All I'm telling you is watch tomorrow's video. I'm going to go deeper into why I think the Fed made a bad decision. And we're going to go from there. No, don't even start that, Fireblazer. Don't start that. Oh, yes. I'll be in LA starting tomorrow. Don't even say that, John. Glenn23 gets you 75% off mugs. Hell no, I didn't say that. I sure didn't do that. All right, thank you, Glenn. Nice to meet you in Toronto last week. Thank you. Jake P. As soon as you put Jake P, there you go. It was a pleasure meeting you last week in Toronto. I will be in California tomorrow. Last week for Toronto. I will be in California tomorrow. All right, and we'll have a free seminar on Saturday. All right, so show them your hat, Glenn. My VectorVest hat, there it is. There's my VectorVest hat too, to go with my VectorVest shirt. I'm the man in black today. Yeah. And when Joey leaves, I'm gonna red thingy him. So he's gonna red thingy. All right. So does VectorVest ever come to Houston? I think we're looking to come to Dallas in November. We'll see how that's what we're gonna do. Say hello to the homeless, Glenn. Listen, everybody's got their ups and downs. We have our ups and downs here. All right. Joey 23, buy one, get one free. Now, I can't do with that. Dallas is 4 hours away, says. But I think that we are doing something potentially in November in Dallas. We'll see. That's potentially. So we have Los Angeles this weekend, and in a couple of weeks, we'll also be in Atlanta. We'll be in Atlanta. Fitz facts. Let go, Glenn. All right, fine. I gotta go. Folks, have a great day. Watch tomorrow's video. I'm gonna go in on the Fed. I'm definitely gonna go in on the Fed. Probably it'll be another rant. All right, but there'll be reasons why I'm ranting. I buy free, get more free. Man, you coming up to Boston in January? Hell no. It's too cold to be going up to Boston in January. I'm not doing that. I think as a group, Joey, we were trying to go to see Dumb Money, but I'm gonna be traveling. Maybe we'll Maybe we'll go next week. All right. I got to go. Stop asking me questions now. How many likes did we get before we go? Since you want to keep asking all these questions. We still didn't get 100 likes. Sigh. All right. With that, folks. Adios. Arrivederci. Ciao. Au revoir. Sayonara. Aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii, especially in Maui. Boom. What did you just do? Boom dia. Salam. Shalom. Namaste. Yasu. Till next time, folks. See ya.